Buff Nation?
Let's go!
Unbelievable. What a weekend for Buff Nation.
What a week.
What a week, yeah. Jeez.
What a week to be a Buff. And this one will go down in the history books.
Greatest recruiting weekend in the history of Colorado football.
You could make that argument for sure. I would probably say yes if you rope in Jordan Seaton.
Yes.
As long as you rope in Jordan Seaton, then yeah. And then you would have a much easier case to say most impactful as we move into next season. And Jake, this has been a long time coming.
Oh, yeah.
This recruiting weekend. And honestly, as much hate as this moment got, Jake, it all dates back to the post-UCLA press conference.
Yes, it does.
That is when this all began.
Yep.
Because Coach Prime stands up there, and he is asked, what is the big picture on how you're going to fix this offensive line or something along those lines? And he says, the big picture is we get new offensive linemen, and I'm going to paint that picture perfectly. And Jake, from that day forward, the phones in Boulder were ringing off the hook.
How could they not be?
Exactly, because so many players wanted to play for this team. So many players wanted to play for Coach Prime. So many players wanted to play in front of Sheduar Sanders as he goes out there and puts together a Heisman campaign. So, again, the haters are always going to chirp about stuff like this and say, oh, why would these players keep playing for him and blah, 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 blah. Well, it worked. It worked, and people kept calling and calling and calling, and, you know, it put Colorado in a position to build this fantastic recruiting weekend where they brought in some of their top choices, not all because, you know, scheduling matters.
Right.
But from the day that the transfer portal opened, they already had an idea of the guys that wanted to come here, which is allowed. People can tell you they're interested in you. You just can't go reaching out to other players. And so Colorado was able to say, okay, boom, 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 bring these pieces together. Let's go do it. And Coach Prime essentially fixes the entire offensive line. Now, again, more tweaks, more little things, more stuff to come, but essentially fixes the entire offensive line. A feat that was said to be impossible. He does it in 72 hours.
Don't bet against Coach Prime. He's capable of anything and everything.
Amen.
This is DNVR Buffs Primetime, presented by Illegal Pete's.
It's like a cold open.
It was. I mean, it's too much excitement. We had to go right into it. Let's start with the big one then. And I mean big one. Former Houston guard Tyler Johnson commits to Colorado. He is a 4-star transfer according to 247 Sports transfer rankings, the 59th overall player. The number 1 interior offensive lineman is a Buff.
Bing.
6'5", 320.
What's so interesting is that some places like rolled out a top 10 offensive lineman in the portal.
Yep.
I think it was on 3, and he wasn't in it, which is so weird. But Myers. I wonder if they update that now, though, and move him up, especially when he gets the 4-star billing.
Tyler Johnson only entered the portal on December 7th, though.
Yes.
And then committed on the 9th over the weekend.
Right.
So it was very, very quick.
It was quick. Like I said, some of the chess pieces were in place. And, man, if it wasn't for Yakiri Walker...
I know.
Because we did on Friday's show, last thing we did was who's going to be the next person to commit. I said Tyler Johnson. Yakiri Walker jumped in front of him and got it. But this is massive. And to all the people out there, idiots really, who are saying, like, they already tried this last year. They had a full offensive line of transfers last year. It didn't work. A couple things. One, wrong. Just wrong. 40% of the offensive line was returning players.
Yes.
2, think about it. A year ago yesterday, they had just gotten their first commit.
Yeah.
It was Dylan Edwards.
Yes.
They were behind the 8 ball because it's a new staff. It's always harder to put together a class in your first year. So I think you said it was the 18th when Taj Alston.
18th and 19th, yep. Taj Alston, Levante Bentley, first transfers.
So again, they were behind the 8 ball. Colorado already has 6 transfers committed and 7 transfers committed. And at this time last year, they had 0.
Mm-hmm.
So again, look at that first of all, if you're looking for reasons why this will be different. And then 2, just look at the quality of player. I mean, look at Tyler Johnson. This guy's a dog. He's a beast. He allowed, what was it?
So according to PFF, 890 pass block snaps, 2 sacks allowed, 1 QB hit allowed with an 84.9 pass block grade.
890.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at math, but that's like 0.03%.
Close enough. Yes.
In terms of what he's the percentage that he's allowing a sack based on pass blocking snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is for real, and he also can block it up in the run game.
Yeah, he's a mauler, man. He's got insanely strong hands. As soon as he latches onto guys, they go nowhere. He's got some nastiness to him too. He can get a little like over his toes, a bit unbalanced and stuff, but he's massive. He's going to be a difference maker. The left side of your offensive line is going to be Jordan Seaton and probably Tyler Johnson.
I love that, and I'm a big fan of stacking the line, stacking the deck, if you will, because we talked about it last year. What was your identity? What was your bread and butter play?
Right. Yep.
If I asked you that and I said, "What's your bread and butter play?" Well,
Sheduar scrambling.
I mean, I would probably say it was like a Xavier Weaver comeback.
Yeah.
Or a hitch.
Travis on a curl, an 8-yard curl.
There you go. One of those two things. You need to have a play that you're just like, it's the fourth quarter. We're down 6. There's 6 minutes left. What's the play we're calling on 1st and 10? And if you can just call run to the left, it could be inside zone, it could be outside zone, it could be whatever, power. If you have that, you're already ahead of a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have Jordan Seaton and Tyler Johnson over there should be that for this team, for the Cowboys who, are just killing it on offense. It's Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are their names.
I think so.
Like, they just know.
Yep.
Those guys are going to win. And so this is huge for this team. Tyler Johnson, I think, had he committed last year at the current quality that he is right now, he might have been, you could make the argument he was like the 3rd best transfer.
Oh, no doubt.
The 3rd most important transfer, if you will. So he's number 1 right now for sure, with a lot more to come. But this is a big deal.
No doubt, man. This guy was a highly touted recruit, too, back when he was just a regular recruit. In 2019, was a 4-star, 58th overall player, 8th overall offensive tackle. He ends up going to Texas, plays there until 2021. I don't think he actually saw the field in 2021. So he entered the portal, joined Houston last year. I think he's a grad transfer. I don't know, though. He's 2019. He said he was a junior last year, so that's 4 years. But
I want to say grad transfer with 2 years left.
Okay, great. Even better.
Yep.
But yeah, what a massive get.
Massive get. And if you're excited about it, hit the thumbs up.
Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify as well. Next guy, another 4-star transfer, Chamon Metayer, the tight end out of Cincinnati.
You sped up when you said his name.
Chamon Metayer. I watched the clip. I heard them say his name. That's how they said it. That's
Chamon
his name.
Metayer. I love it. I just know that you knew I was going to be watching you, so you said it real fast.
No, someone tweeted out a clip of him scoring a touchdown last year for the Bearcats, and they said his name, and I was like, right there. Never going to forget it.
They could have. They had quite a few to choose from if they were looking for a clip of him scoring a touchdown last year. I believe 5?
5 touchdowns. 23 receptions for 258 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. I think he had 4 starts, played in 11 games, missed 1 game, I think, at the very end of the year. He caught a pass in every game but 3 games that he played in. And then just overall as a transfer, 5th overall tight end in the portal, 58th overall player. Was a 4-star coming out of Miami, Florida, so a Florida boy as well.
Yep.
Back in 2021, committed to Cincy. And, I mean, he's big. This is exactly what we needed at tight end. You needed size. You needed a receiving threat. You just needed an all-around tight end who can just help you be more versatile in your personnel and not be as predictable, not have to go out in 11 or 10 every down.
Absolutely. And on Friday, I think it was, maybe, I was like, I'm tired of seeing these offers to 6'3", 235-pound tight ends. Like, that's not fixing the problem here. Well, boom. What is he, 6'5", 250?
6'5", 248.
Yeah, so he's 6'5", 250 pounds. He's a big boy. And I believe he was ranked above Jalen Conyers in the transfer tight end rankings. Is that right?
Let me pull that up right now. Jalen Conyers committed to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
He's actually fourth. So
Okay, so
Chamon Metayer is right there.
Right next to each other. Obviously, I know they took a look at both guys. They ended up siding with Metayer as their favorite. So they went out and got their guy. To me, they're not done. And
No.
Well, let me just first say this. People should be way more excited about Chamon Metayer than they are so far. The only reason they're not is because of the opposite of what Coach Prime said was going to happen happened. He said, we're going to roll it out one piece of good news at a time.
Yeah, caught me off guard.
And then I think they were just like, nah, fuck it. Like, I think the kids were probably just like, I want to commit. Like, this is fun. Like, everyone's so excited right now. I want to hop in on this wave. And so what happens is you get all of this news on Saturday. And then in the middle of NFL Sunday, it's like another one. And everyone was just like, almost like sensory overload of excitement over the Buffs. But this is a big time, a 4-star. So far, the second highest rated transfer they've gotten. This dude is serious. And was in a massive position of need. So that being said, I also think they're not done at tight end. They need more there.
And also, you stole him from a conference rival now.
It's true. It's true.
Going back to the Big 12. Okay, next guy then. Probably another starting piece on your offensive line. Justin Mayers.
Yes.
Former UTEP guard, commits to Colorado, I believe, on Saturday. He was an All-Conference USA honorable mention this last year. He's listed at 6'3", 309. He's out of Frisco, Texas. He was a redshirt junior last year. So kind of the same thing. Was a 2019 recruit. I believe he's only a 2-star recruit, but he's now a 3-star transfer, rated the 5th overall interior lineman in the portal, and he's a Buff.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I think he might end up getting the 4th star. He's not rated yet, is he?
He is.
He is?
Yep.
And they just gave him 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I see. Does that change in the last hour or so?
Yeah, man. They've been just rolling him out.
Okay. Because I was looking this morning, and he had not been rated yet. That was his high school rating that was next to him.
Yeah, he's got a transfer rating.
So he has his transfer rating. All right. Well, I thought he should have been a 4-star. Like you said, what, top 5 interior offensive lineman in the
5th
portal?
overall.
Dude is serious. And this goes to what I said, Jake. Now, UTEP, not quite, but Cincinnati and Houston, I said, Colorado is going to get starters from legitimate schools to come transfer to them.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You get Tyler Johnson from Houston. You get Metayer from Cincinnati. And Myers is the truth. And he obviously played at UTEP, which is a little smaller school. But it brings up an interesting question. Got 2 guards. Got a center who we'll get to in a second. You also still have Tyler Brown waiting in the wings.
I know.
Competition, not a bad thing for sure, but it brings up some positional questions. Are you keeping Tyler Brown at guard? Are you considering moving him to center? Are you considering moving one of these guys to center? And obviously you wouldn't do it with Tyler Johnson, but maybe you'd do it with Myers.
Well, the other caveat is all 3 of these guys are left guards. Tyler Brown, Justin Mayers, and Tyler Johnson. They all played left guard.
Yep.
So someone's going to have to move regardless.
Yep.
Just some PFF stats from this season for Justin Mayers. Overall grade was 77.9. That was 18th out of 640 guards. Pass block grade 84.1, 39th out of 584 guards. Oof. And then running blocking grade 76.3. That's 26th. So premier interior offensive lineman.
It looks like On3 did give him a 4th star.
Okay.
Which, as you guys know, I am loyal to whatever recruiting service gives our players the highest rating in each specific vacuum.
On 3, though, not much Buff buzz this weekend for some reason.
Where was that?
I don't know.
Where was the buzz from everyone?
I don't know. No one cared.
The same people who were, throwing their arms up in the air over Caleb Fourier.
The same people posting November recruiting rankings.
Yeah, that's so weird. You would think that, I don't know, maybe they would keep that same energy. Just kidding. You would never think that they would keep that same energy because they're haters. But it was notable. Like, notably quiet.
Yeah.
And then I put out the 4-step process. Man, we couldn't have hit on 3 and 4.
You nailed that, bro.
More this weekend. The people pointing to the recruiting rankings over and over again, ignoring that Colorado is, I believe, 14th right now in average star or average.
They're number 1 in the Big 12. They're above teams like Michigan, Miami, Penn State.
Number 1 in the Big 12, and of course, Jake, number 1 in the transfer portal rankings. Yep. So we always said, I mean, anyone who's been following this knew exactly what the plan was. You go light on high school recruits, but heavy on quality, and then you fill in all the gaps in the transfer portal. That's exactly what's unfolding. And man, if people didn't do the recruiting rankings that I predicted, and then the other one was, we already saw them do the transfers last year. That one was everywhere this weekend.
Yep. Oh, that's all we're going to hear the next 8 months, bro.
Yeah. Someone was like, all right, what's the next step? I was like, oh no, we just stay in phase 4 for like a long time now.
Exactly. Oh, we have a spring portal session to go through. We're just getting started here. Next guy, Kahlil Benson, former Indiana right tackle. He's listed as an interior lineman on 247, but he played right tackle last year. I think he started all the games for the Hoosiers at right tackle. 6'6", 325.
Big boy.
Listed as the 120th overall player. He's got a 3-star transfer rating. Rated 7th interior offensive lineman again, though. Played right tackle last season for the Hoosiers. Was a redshirt junior. Was a 2020 commit. Tore his ACL ahead of fall camp in 2020. Redshirted that year. Did not play 2021. Appeared in all 12 games with 5 starts in 22, and then started every game last year. But another piece. I mean, literally, they could go field a whole new offensive line right now if they wanted to.
Yep. From left to right.
Yep.
All the way across the board. So this one is interesting, and it'll be so interesting to see kind of how many more offensive linemen they take, because I still don't think they're done on the offensive line. And again,
they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it brings up questions about who's playing where, who's starting, who's competing. But this is another guy who only gave up 1 sack last season.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, you take a little deeper dive in the numbers. He struggled a little bit in pass protection. But one of the things that I think is so funny is that people hop on and they pull up some, the PFF grades or whatever, and they're trying to make some point or another. You don't think that, like, Corey Phillips and his team watch the film on these guys
right.
and have a reason why they're taking them?
Yeah.
Like, and the same thing is true of Yakiri Walker. It's like people are like, what are they doing? I just don't understand this, blah, blah. I'm like, there's clearly a reason why they like him. Like, they watched him. There's something they like about him. There's rumors about a growth spurt. I haven't heard one way or another confirmed yet if he did get up to that 6'3", 290 that some people were advertising. But they're not just it's not like guys just show up on campus and they're like, I'm committing, and the coaches are like, cool, great, sounds good.
What can you do?
Yeah. Like, they have gone through it, and maybe with Benson, they feel like he has a really high ceiling. Maybe they feel like he was compensating for a guard next to him or whatever it may be. There's a lot that goes into this stuff. And so my first reaction always is to trust the coaches and believe in what they're seeing that made them like these guys to bring them in on the very first transfer recruiting weekend of the season and lock them in. And not everyone had a committable offer that came this weekend, and maybe they wanted to get a closer look at them, et cetera, and then some of these guys go back out to the market. Maybe they're telling them, hey, look, we're bringing in a few more guys. We want to see how that goes, but we could circle back to you. Feel free to explore while you have it, that opportunity as well. But when these coaches put their stamp on somebody, there's a reason they're doing it.
Yep, trust the coaching staff.
But also 1 sack.
Yes.
I mean, everyone they brought in combined gave up less sacks than like several games last season.
They probably all gave up less sacks than the person they're going to replace. Every single person.
Oh, for sure. But what I'm saying is, like, there were several games where they gave up 8, 9, 10 sacks, whereas these guys combined gave up less than that.
Yep. We got a wide receiver this weekend too, Terrell Timmons Jr., former NC State wide receiver. is a Buff. He's also a 3-star transfer, 104th overall player, 22nd wide receiver, 6'2", 195. He played a bit last year. Played in all 12 games. I think he started a few earlier in the season, but only 11 receptions for 195 yards, no touchdowns. But I've heard that every time this guy catches the football, it's like a highlight reel play.
And that's the thing. I talked to a couple people about him, and 3 things stood out. 1, electrifying speed. Mm-hmm. And this is clearly something that they've been looking for. Tarvaris Dawson, Jalen Ellis, like they're going to keep throwing darts when it comes to speed wide receivers because they want someone that they can line up on the outside and just send them straight. Yep. Now, Tavares was maybe more of a slot guy, but remember Jalen Ellis is over 6 feet as well. They're looking for big and fast. Mm-hmm. And that's what Terrell Timmons brings. The other thing is his route running is pretty solid. Like, a lot of times you get these speed guys and it's just like, okay, well, they run one route. He actually had some nasty comeback routes, stuff like that.
Do you know who his cousin is?
Keenan Allen.
One of the best route runners in the NFL.
Yes. So there you go. That's a nice little bloodline to have and also a nice person to be able to probably work with in the offseason. And the last thing is ball skills. He has really good ball skills. Made some kind of highlight reel catches going in and attacking the football. I feel like my eyes have been ruined by Travis Hunter because he's the best football tracker ever as far as I'm concerned. But then I have to remind myself, I'm like, no, that's a nice play. Like he went and found that and went and got it. So the stats aren't there. He got jumped on the depth chart by an electric freshman at NC State.
Okay.
I think his name's Conception.
Let me see. Let me find out.
Concepcion. I don't know. He has an interesting name, but dude came in and was just like,
oh yeah,
insane.
You're right. Kevin Concepcion or something like that. It's a C. It's not a T. I don't know, man.
We're just gonna call him Kevin Conception. Anyways. He came in and just kind of took his spot, and so that's why he didn't get as much playing time this year. But size, speed, and ball skill, or size, speed, route running, and ball skills, that's a guy that you take a flyer on.
And we know Sheduar is always going to have the confidence to just throw it up there and let his guys make plays. So if you have someone who's willing and able to do all those things, hard not to think he will be an asset at some point. He was only a 2022 recruit. Was a true sophomore last year, so the guy has at least 2 years to play. Next guy is, I think it's just onto Yakiri Walker. And that's former UConn center Yakiri Walker. Was not on the original list of visitors, but he did visit this weekend, was there, was offered, and committed, obviously. Did they confirm that?
I think.
But Yakiri Walker, he played center for UConn, started all their games last year. Utah, you briefly mentioned it. He's only listed at 6'3", 267. Apparently, he's got a 3-star transfer rating, though, still. So I guess everyone's been rated who's committed over the weekend.
Dang, I literally looked at this not long ago.
Yeah.
You're right. Everyone... See, I'm on 247, and they still have Myers as his high school rating.
On his page, it said it had a transfer rating, though.
Okay. Anyways.
But Yakiri Walker, he's out of DeSoto, Texas, went to DeSoto High School. And with that weight, I think, look, we saw what Coach Mo did last offseason. Yeah. If you find an offensive lineman who you think has the mind and the movement ability to play at this level and just needs to bulk up, Coach Mo is the guy to get them to that point.
Amen. Obviously he's undersized. Unless the second number that came out of the 6'3", 290, which would be really nice. If he's not, then it would be nice to get him there. And Coach Mo is obviously a great person to help with this. Dude is great out on the move. Obviously, that's what you're going to be good at if you're undersized.
Yep.
But yeah, that was an interesting one, a name that I hadn't heard. just kind of showed up and committed, and it was like, oh,
first one too.
Yeah, exactly, like early Saturday morning. So there you go. Coach Mo's got his work cut out.
He does. That's it so far from this weekend. Robert Unige, the other Houston, right? Or is he Indiana?
Concepcion. What?
Robert Unige. Was he Houston?
He was Houston, yes.
So he tweeted a few things. I think he even tweeted out a picture of being there. Didn't tweet the wall, obviously. And then Will Shepherd. He was there this weekend. He was offered over the weekend when he was there. And then his dad put out this tweet. Will Shepherd has not committed, but I'm pretty sure this is his dad. It says Willie Shepherd. As a former college athlete, college football should be worried of more young men visiting Boulder. Coach Prime and staff are 100% it. And no disrespect, but I don't feel many in Door Nation, Commodore Nation for the Vanderbilt, says top to bottom know what it is when they see it. I wish everybody the best. Truly, deuces.
Was it? I mean, there's a couple of these that were like as close to a commitment as you can get without being.
Well, Kahlil Benson posted the wall picture, said like, I'm all in, blah, blah, but it's like, you didn't say the word, bro.
Know.
Like, you got to say the word.
Yeah, and that's what everyone was responding to him. Like, is this real? Is this a commitment? And then he quote tweets himself, says #committed. Yes. It's like, you forgot an important part of that. Yeah. But the other guy from Indiana, Bedford, also kind of like posted something.
Yeah,
like,
he had a locker pic sitting in the locker.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to join the family or something like that. And it was like, so are you joining the family?
I guess not.
But another one here with Will Shepherd. Where it's like, okay, it feels like this one is just teetering on the edge, but damn near everyone in the country wants Will Shepherd.
Oh, yeah. One of, if not the most highly coveted receiver in the portal right now. I can check the portal rankings. He might be the number 1 wide receiver. He is number 7, actually. There's a few guys ahead of him.
Including Baby T.O.?
He is actually number 9.
Oh, okay.
Or, no, what's his name again?
Cordell Russell.
He's number 20.
Oh, wow. Okay. Far down there. 6 touchdowns last year. But anyways, Will Shepherd, did you see the message board geniuses post about Will Shepherd? Yes.
Someone obviously like parading as a fake fan, like talking to, who was it? It was gosh, I can't remember what program it was, but it was like
Ole Miss or something.
Yeah, they're like, my wife agreed, let's just donate all of our Christmas money to the NIL to get this guy or whatever.
Exactly. It's like, me and my wife made the tough decision. We're not doing Christmas presents for the kids this year. We're just donating all that money to the NIL collective so we can get that wide receiver from Vanderbilt.
I think it was South Carolina was the message board.
That's great.
What a weekend, though.
Anyways, you should feel really good about where they stand with Will Shepherd. But also know that, especially when a player is coveted like that, they're going to have to say no to a lot of people and a lot of things before the saga is over.
Yeah, we're just getting started. That was just this weekend. And we didn't even get to the last commitment yet, which is Drelon Miller, but we'll get there after other side of this break, unless you have something.
One thing that I heard this weekend that I was so excited to come and share on the show today, Coach Prime spoiled it for me. He spoiled my big scoop, which was this was the offensive line weekend. Next week is defensive line weekend. I was like, oh, that's such like a fun little like theme week for us to lead into. And then Coach Prime tweets it this morning.
I know.
He's like, we're going to get a couple more dogs on offense, and then it's time for defense.
He said the big saps, I think.
Yeah, and he was like, this weekend or something like that. So there you go. It's a fun time to be a Buffs fan.
It's a great time, man.
Hit that thumbs up.
Shout out to our great friends over at Game Time. Whatever city you're in, wherever you are. If you want to go to a game, sporting event, concert, shows, whatever's going on, check out Game Time. They take all the guesswork out of buying tickets. We'll mention Buffs basketball here in a bit, but man, big win from them. They're coming home for like a 4-game homestand here before the holidays. So if you want to get in, check out Game Time and use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS. Create an account. Use the promo code BUFFS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS, BUFFS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Breck Distillery. Not on the table right now, but oftentimes on the table over here. And If you're like me, you like a celebratory glass of bourbon after, someone like Tyler Johnson commits.
Yep.
But for me, when I want a celebratory bourbon, I want it to have a little sweetness to it. It feels like you're treating yourself. And that's one of the things that Breckenridge Distillery does great, is adding that little bit of sweetness to make it really feel celebratory, feel like maybe like a little dessert drink or an après dinner drink. So check out our friends over at Breck Distillery. Go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com to see their entire line of award-winning Breckenridge spirits. Breckenridge Distillery, après anywhere.
Wow, well done. All right. I guess we'll start with Drelon Miller, and then we'll talk about AB after that. But both the guys that we said, you said Tyler Johnson, I said Drelon Miller.
Yes. Is it Drelon or Drelon?
I think it's Drelon. Man, I hear people say these.
Dre.
No, I just try to replicate what I hear people say these names as.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to do. But this kid is electric. One of the best recruits in the nation, one of the most versatile recruits in the nation. 6 foot 190 out of Silsbee, Texas. 65th overall player, 14th overall wide receiver. He did it all. He played wildcat quarterback, played running back, wide receiver, played defensive back, and I think he also returned kicks. This guy is just an all-around weapon.
Yeah, and he is a beast. And we were kind of going back and forth in our group chat with Dre, talking about him this weekend. And Dre was like really talking about what he thinks he could bring to the backfield in, special packages and stuff like that. And I woke up this morning. I had like 3 sips of coffee, and then it hit me. I was trying to figure out a comp because I was like, he's like a big body wide receiver, and Dre's like, he could be used as like a speed bag, and I was like, I feel like we're seeing 2 different people. And then 2 sips of coffee, and I was like, Laviska Shenault.
Yep.
So I went and I looked. What was Laviska Shenault listed as coming out of high school? He was listed at 6 foot 195. I think he ended up at like 6'1", 208 for his playing weight. But so I'm all excited about that. And then I go and look at Drelon's commitment video, and what does he have spliced in there? Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
Who is Laviska Shenault.
That's the prototype.
Final form.
Yeah.
Like holographic Pokemon, the top one.
Gold lettering, all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And so now I'm like, that has set my Drelon Miller excitement to the absolute moon.
Yep.
He is that type of weapon. He's a pain in the ass to try and bring down. He's powerful when he runs, but also fast. He can go in contested catches. So whether you want to go the Laviska Shenault route or you want to go the Deebo Samuel route, like that's the kind of player and the kind of style of player that he clearly wants to be, and that should excite all Buffs fans.
No doubt. Last year, his 2023 high school stats: 26 rushing attempts for 238 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. That's 9.2 yards per carry, by the way.
Mike is saying Drelon.
That's what I said.
You said Drelon.
Drelon.
You said Drelon.
I don't know what I said then. I don't even know what I say half the time
I said
now.
Drelon. The apostrophe is what makes you like.
There is no apostrophe.
There is.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Are we sure?
I'm positive. It's Drelon Miller.
I think there is an apostrophe.
No, there's not.
Okay, you're right. No apostrophe.
I told you.
Wait, On3 has him as an apostrophe. 247 has no apostrophe.
His own Twitter page does not have an apostrophe.
Okay. I'm just saying, at least it wasn't just me.
He had 53 receptions for 1,027 yards. That's 19.4 yards per reception with 11 receiving touchdowns. Had 1 interception as well. He plays basketball. This guy's just an all-around athlete. Silsbee finished 12-1. Made it to the 3rd round of the Texas 4A Division II playoffs. Just an all-around beast, man.
Yeah.
He's going to be a weapon for anything you want him to do. Kick returner. We'll see if he becomes one of those two-way players for them. What?
I'm literally just looking through Twitter right now, and it is crazy. Like, Hayes Fawcett put the apostrophe in there. Rivals put the apostrophe in there. not that they're obviously just following other people. Barstool put the apostrophe in there.
But 247 and the guy himself do not have the apostrophe.
I'm not saying one thing or the other. I'm just confused.
Maybe we'll have to
Adam had no apostrophe.
There you go. I trust Adam.
We need just confirmation from him.
We just need to get
DNVR, no apostrophe in the graphic.
We need to get Drelon on the show, and then we can find out for sure.
Yes, exactly. Drelon.
Whatever, man. Oh, my gosh.
Either way, doesn't matter how you spell it. He's a dog.
He is a dog.
And he is a fun weapon.
And
Not one that they really have in the fold right now.
I mean, it's literally like if Dylan was 4 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier almost. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much what he is.
Yeah, see, I don't see that at all. But he's
definitely more of a wide receiver, like in that same like hybrid type of role, though, that they wanted for Dylan.
Yeah, no, I totally see the hybrid role, but it's kind of like the old... like the West Coast offense, especially the new age West Coast offense, loves the like big slot. Mm-hmm. It's like that's kind of how you're using him, and you're using him on jet sweeps because you think he's going to put his foot in the ground, juke someone out, and go to the house, because you think he's going to get ahead of steam and run someone over at the sticks and get the first down.
Right.
And he still could go to the house. He definitely has that type of speed, but like you want all of that muscle with a head of steam, going at defenders, especially in the secondary.
Yep. I think this commitment was met with a lot of enthusiasm and just joy from Buffs fans because the day before, Aaron Butler decommitted.
Yep. Kind of
atomic buff.
Yeah. Kind of a trade-off there. And one that, I mean, if you guys were listening closely, I told you it was going to happen like a month ago.
The writing's been on the wall for a long time.
Yep. Unfortunate. His dad, who has been a huge supporter of everything that Coach Prime is doing and everything that the Buffs are doing, is kind of opened up about it and gave some little details.
A bit.
I think what you can do, what I would just say is you chalk this one up to the new age of college football. Things like this are going to happen.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Drelon Miller's ranked above Aaron Butler. Basically, all the rankings.
Yep. The rankings love Drelon Miller.
Yeah,
Drelon Miller.
Miller's apparently 20 pounds heavier than Aaron Butler is, according to 247 listings.
He's big.
Yeah, he is. Who? AB or Miller? 6'1", 190 for Drelon Miller. 205 on this. Oh, so
ESPN has him at 205.
That's crazy.
Do they have Do they have an apostrophe? Maybe the apostrophe adds a little
can they settle the apostrophe for us? But yeah, AB's dad was obviously very vocal on Twitter. He still was like, I think, giving love to the Buffs and what was going on, obviously, too. I mean, you said that, but
totally.
Even just, he was getting, I'm sure, a lot of mentions and a lot of people wondering what's going on. I mean, it blew up mine. People sending me his tweets, but he seems like he still supports the program quite a bit. And they go back. They played together.
Yeah. And, he was kind of defending AB because he was like, oh, he's just chasing the bag. And he was like, if he wanted to chase the bag, he should go to Colorado because the NIL opportunity beyond whatever you're getting from a collective is better at Colorado than it is anywhere else in the country, which I agree with. I mean, no one else is getting their players in Google commercials.
Right.
And I'm sure Google pays.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate. But as always, you tip your cap. You understand that everyone's situation is different, and you wish him the absolute best.
And here's the thing. They've been talking about Drelon Miller. He came on visits throughout the last month and a half of the season. Like, it wasn't a secret that they were CU was recruiting him really hard, and they wanted him. Maybe that played a factor. Who knows? But I think if there's anything we've learned from this Coach Prime era already at Colorado is they're going to be able to get these top-of-the-line athletes, two-way players, and if one leaves, there's just another one ready to step right up and take their spot.
Yep.
Just basically literally what happened.
ESPN put the apostrophe and 15 pounds on him. 15-pound apostrophe. I will say this. The fact that it's not just his @ like his @ doesn't have it, but you can't have it in your @
Right.
He
It's
also
his
has his
display.
display name.
Yes.
No, so I'm going team no apostrophe.
Thank you. Took 5 minutes, but we got you there.
I was never on any team. I was just confused.
It sounded like you were a pro.
I don't think it did.
All right. More recruiting news. Do you remember Mantrez Walker,
Oh,
Ryan?
last thing on this.
Go ahead.
Drelon Miller is currently the 9th highest rated recruit in Colorado history.
He's like on the edge. We've talked about AB being on the fringe of 5-star. He really is when you look at the rankings.
I mean, he's like what, like a 97 composite? Is 97
just closed
a
it.
5-star? Because I think he's 96.95 right now on his composite score.
I will pull up his page.
0.9695.
So I can tell you AB's composite score was 0.949.
Yep.
Drelon was 0.969.
0.969. I mean, he could very well get that 5th star. Not that it matters, but it is fun.
Here, I'll pull up the overall recruiting rankings and see. But do you remember Mantrez Walker?
Yes, of course.
He said, he put out a tweet. This was today at 7 a.m. Tune in tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's happened.
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
He is a 3-star linebacker out of Buford, Georgia. I can't remember if he was committed to Michigan or not. He was. Decommitted in September. He got his CU offer in August. I think he's been here on an unofficial visit. But he obviously had great interest in the Buffs. He could be another commit coming very soon to Colorado. Another linebacker, too.
Yep. And I mean, going back to Drelon Miller a little bit, and then a lot of people in the comments are talking about Cam McKell. Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Speed. McKell is like electric fast.
One of the fastest in the nation.
Yes. And then, like we kind of mentioned, Drelon's kind of that LaVisca type Debo speed where it's like, oh my God, this guy does not look fun to tackle because he's moving real fast and he's real big.
Okay, so back to the ratings thing. The last 5-star that I see in this year's rankings is number 33, Xavier Filsami, 31st overall player. He's got a 9.985.
Okay.
And then the player after him, the 34th overall player, is Luke Kromenhoek. That's a quarterback committed to FSU. He's got a .972.
Okay, so somewhere between 9.7 and 9.8.
Somewhere between 9.72 and 9.856, which is, I guess, a pretty sizable gap still.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's knocking on the door. Last bit of recruiting, or actually, no, we got a few more. Cardell Russell. We talked about him earlier in the show. Former TCU wide receiver, was a 4-star, I believe, in last year's class. Really young kid. Yeah, 2023 4-star. He put on his Instagram story he's visiting Colorado this weekend.
Let's go. 6 touchdowns last season.
Yep. Listed
As a freshman.
at 6'2", 200 pounds. Was the 100th overall recruit. 4-star again. He had a .954 for what it's worth. He was a basketball and track and field athlete in high school. He's got great speed. Could be another big receiver. He kind of fits that Zay Weaver, Will Shepherd mold they're kind of going for. That bigger, almost kind of like Drelon Miller, just like big speed guy.
Yeah, your ex wide receiver.
Yes, exactly. And then final piece of news. We have had a few decommits in the 24 and 25 class, obviously. But Micah Welsh, the running back out of Georgia, Milledgeville, Georgia, Baldwin High School, 3-star player, 746 overall, 5'9", 210, has been adamant that he is locked in and tweeted multiple things over the weekend that he can't wait to sign.
Yep.
So he is locked in and ready to go.
Love it. I love the video of him working on his footwork. And you just see the grass underneath him is just absolutely torn to pieces because he's that big kind of bowling ball back who just digs into the ground.
I can't remember if this is in episode 2 or 3 of the Coach Prime documentary, but when he talks about the running back archetype.
I think it's 1, actually.
Is it 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Welsh fits what Coach Prime was talking about.
Totally. Says he wants a short, stocky running backs.
Oh, I've got great news now. So I was going to say Colorado is now 29th in the overall recruiting ranking according to 247 Sports. They're up to 25 now.
Let's go.
Again, an incredible average for the recruits, 90.11.
And that's including both. This is now the overall transfer added to high school recruits.
Yep. So that average, I mean, we already kind of mentioned it's better than South Carolina. It's better than Michigan. It's right there with USC. It's better than Penn State, better than LSU, better than Oklahoma, better than Miami.
Yep.
I mean, they're recruiting as good as any team in the country is right now.
Exactly. And it's so, again, it's one of those funny things that people are posting those rankings way back when, and now they've gone completely silent. Or even the people who are now responding to it are like, "What? They're only up to 50." Like, again, take in the full picture.
Yep.
I know you're capable of it, but you're purposely trying to save face. And what's funny is even the people who are now pointing out that they're like 50th in the...
I'm pulling it up right now. They are ranked 49? In the actual 2024 recruiting rankings,
just
54th.
For high school players, so they're 54. Even that's going to end up going up.
Well,
that's going to end up being way higher.
And they have a ridiculous average when it comes to just high school recruits, 91.08. They're higher than the 35, 40 teams ahead of them.
I tried to sort by that earlier, and it didn't work.
It's not great.
But I think I counted it out, and I had them at 14th in average rating on the 2024 class. So, man, at the end, they're probably going to have the number one transfer portal class again. That one, I would say, probably gets into the 20s in terms of just that class. And when you combine the two, it's going to be top 15 recruiting.
Yep.
Top 15 recruiting or better. This staff is killing it, and there's a reason why they're focusing on transfers, because as Coach Prime literally said to me in the Utah press conference, a plethora of transfers are coming in. Why? Because we want to win now.
Yep. And this isn't even mentioning the potential 2024 flips they could get.
Yep.
A Boo Carter being in there. I'm sure, there could be a guy that we're not even talking about that could be flipped.
Totally. And the other thing is, if
this music is on point right now, bro.
If CU wanted to have a top 20 high school recruiting class, they could absolutely do it. Fill out your class with high 3 stars. You have your 4 stars. You try and flip a couple 4 and 5 stars late. They absolutely would have it, but they only have 15.
We don't know. Coach hasn't exactly told us how many he held back from last year. He always says 7 to 9, 8 to 10, something like that. And then,
what I was saying though, in terms of high school recruits committed.
Okay. Oh, how many do they have now?
Yeah,
I think it's only 9 or 10.
So there you go. Oh yeah, 15 with the transfers, I believe.
I'll pull it up.
So they've gone light on that, so they can go heavier on the transfer portal, and they don't want to bring in 3-star recruits that might be good 3 years from now. It's just not the process that they're doing right now. What you're going to see is that next year they're going to go crazy on the field, and they'll start bringing in more and more high school kids, but they'll be able to keep up the quality while increasing the quantity, rather than doing what most schools had done in the past. Like a Mike McIntyre class would have had 2 4-stars and then just 23 stars.
Yeah, they're just not stack the deck.
Exactly. They're just not going to do that. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, because what you're trying to say is, okay, we're going to hit on these 4 stars, and then we're hoping to hit on half of the 3 stars. And if we can do that at a consistent rate, we'll be able to keep a good roster together. Coach Prime's just not doing it. He's like, give me grown men, and then give me high school recruits that I'm really confident in their abilities.
10 hard commits in the 2024 class, 6 transfers so far, so only 16 total. Again, quality over quantity. Shout out to our friends at Circa, our wonderful friends at Circa. You're headed there at the end of the month, right?
Yes, sir.
For Broncos Raiders. How about those Broncos, by the way, baby?
That was fun.
Man, what a day yesterday was.
I haven't rewatched a Broncos game all year. That might be one for me.
Let's go.
I truly enjoyed that.
I need to rewatch it because yesterday was just insane. Had a basketball game, had all these commits and stuff trying to write during the whole thing. But anyway, shout out to Circa. They're amazing. You can come hang out with the DNVR Broncos crew. I believe at the beginning of January is week 18. And then, of course, the Super Bowl is out there in Vegas. We may be out there in Vegas for that weekend as well.
Yep.
But Circa's amazing. They got over 500 luxury rooms. They got Stadium Swim, which is just like a marvel of modern engineering. And then one of the coolest casinos and sports books out there in Vegas. If you're heading out for Broncos, Raiders, Avs, Knights, Pac-12, or Mountain West alum, book your stay with code DNVR20 for 20% off. And also check out the Circa Sportsbook app. It's available in Colorado now. You can download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
Also, get over to Hero Bread and use that code DNVR to get 10% off. Their delicious breads, tortillas, buns, anything that you need. And if you want it in low to no carb style, Hero Bread is the place for you. The bread is delicious, but I legitimately put my name on the tortillas. Like that is the official #1 highest seal of approval I can give to a product goes to the Hero Bread tortillas. Those things are amazing, and I have not had one person who has believed me and gone out and got these low carb tortillas from Hero Bread say I was wrong. Everyone says I'm right. So check them out and use the code DNVR at hero.co. That's hero.co for 10% off the delicious products from our friends at Hero Bread.
All right. Let's just talk about Coach and Sheduar here, because the gratitude that they showed over the weekend and just the way that they were kind of hyping up the weekend and tweeting about it and talking about it, I loved it. We got the words from Coach on Friday too about everything that basically loves about Boulder and wants to do here in Colorado. But he put out a selfie and said, "I'm so thankful I can't help but smile. Wow, God is good." On December 10th, like less than an hour after that, Drelon Miller committed.
Yeah.
And then he put out this tweet this morning, 6 hours ago. "I'm so thankful for all the recruits that's committed and submitted to this program, the parents of the young man and our staff. Wow, what a week. But guess what? We're going to drop a few more dogs on you offensively. And then this weekend, the defense gets all the focus, especially them saps. Hashtag Coach Prime."
Bang.
And then
that is big time. And it comes on the heels of the quote that he said to, I believe it was NBC News.
Is that who that was?
Yes. And it was actually a Buff.
Yeah.
Who he was speaking to, Savannah Sellers, who is the anchor for NBC News Now. So I assume that's what we were watching there. Coach Prime said, quote, "I love Boulder, Colorado. I don't plan on being anywhere else in my coaching career. I want to ride off on a white horse with a black hat into the sunset in Boulder, Colorado, winning a championship. Actually, championships, plural. That's what I want to do."
I mean, what else do you need to hear at this point?
Well, that is a huge step.
Yes.
From what he said last time, which was still a commitment.
Right.
But people were trying to poke holes in it. He said, "I'm here, my dog's here, my sister's here, my kids are here."
He retweeted that again, by the way, over the weekend.
He did.
Yes.
But so that was his thing. Is he's saying, "I'm here." And people were saying, "Well, that doesn't mean he's going to be here." So then what does he do? He comes out and gives this, which is about as far as you can possibly go with one of these things.
Yeah.
I want to retire here. I want to ride off on a white horse with a black hat into the sunset of Boulder, Colorado. That is the ultimate stamp of I want to be here. It doesn't guarantee anything. We all know that. But if there was any question about the semantics of what he was saying, he removed all doubt.
I mean, look, people that didn't like what he said when he was asked about the A&M job, like, they're kind of in the season, and it was ridiculous anyway because he wasn't officially linked to it in any capacity. No one was reporting it. It was all just
Speculation.
Yeah, speculation and hearsay that, oh, Coach Prime was going to go to A&M.
Yep.
So now that, the season's done, he's been able to kind of step back a bit and just get into the recruiting mode, what he does best, and puts out this statement, this just reconfirmation of his love for Boulder, because I think his love for Boulder has been apparent for the entire year he's been here so far.
Absolutely.
Like how he embraces Peggy, how he embraces Rick George,
Yep.
The basketball teams. Of course, Shelomai is on the team, but just how he talks about pumping up all the athletics here at CU and what he wants to do for the future of the program.
He's recruiting Nobel laureates.
Yeah. I mean, he loves CU. He really loves CU.
Yeah, he loves it here. You had Constance on the Rich Eisen show saying he wants to be here. Like he's like so incredibly comfortable. I joked on Twitter the other night that he's gone full Colorado. On a big Saturday night, he was wearing sweats, slippers, and a flannel.
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, he loves it here.
Yep.
He loves it here. So it's everyone can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, I think, that if they were worried about Coach Prime leaving, while at the same time acknowledging that nothing lasts forever. And, you know, Colorado has to keep holding up their end of the bargain when it comes to keeping Coach Prime around. But, you know, when he was hired, remember there was all these questions and concerns about his cultural fit in Boulder.
Right.
That has been completely
Non-factor.
knocked down. And Coach Prime is actually leaving a legacy of making an impact on the culture of Boulder.
Yeah.
Not, you know, for lack of a better term, assimilating to it.
Right. I mean, there's been like mutual, I don't know what the word is, but embracing, I guess.
Oh, totally.
From CU and then from Coach Prime to CU. And that's love right there, man.
Yes. Amen.
If you needed another sign, though, Coach Prime put up an Instagram post today on his property of a empty, like, kind of area of land that he has. Mm-hmm. Caption says, "New lake going in. What should I name it? I already have Lake Prime and Lake Time. Help me and please keep it clean and kind."
I love it.
What should we name his lake?
Lake Ralphie.
Lake Ralphie? I don't know what I was thinking like Lake Dog or something like that.
Dog Lake.
Yeah.
I think it's Lake Ralphie.
We can get behind that. And then Sheduar put out a tweet over the weekend as well. This is actually just last night. Said, "Man, I'm thankful for those who want to come play at CU. Not everyone is built to play under the expectations."
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I mean, it was clear the last half of the season that the expectations here are a little different. Not just here, but like for CU around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of Sheduar and Coach Prime and Travis and what they brought in here. And it's what they're trying to establish, though, reestablish, really, is this culture of not winning, dominating, because that's what they want to do.
Absolutely. You know, Coach Prime has said it from the jump, but it really illuminated itself this year, which is you want to play for Coach Prime, you're going to get all the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, because if you're great, everyone's going to see it. And if you suck, everyone's going to see it. And that takes a certain type of dog to have that much confidence that they're not afraid of the bright lights.
Yep. All right. Okay. Shout out to our friends at Shady Rays. Take on the winter sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with their premium polarized lenses and strong, durable frames. They got hundreds and hundreds of combinations, guys. You can check them out online at shadyrays.com. Or if you are here in Denver, go to the Park Meadows Mall, and you can shop the entire collection in person. They're all backed by their replacement program, where if you break or lose your Shady Rays, they will replace them, no questions asked. Even if you don't like your Shady Rays, within the first 30 days, they will replace them, no questions asked.
Lake Portal is a good one.
Lake Peggy, a lot of people have said.
Yeah. What about like 21 Lake?
Lake 21.
Or Lake 21 or 2? Lake 2?
Yeah. The Shedeur. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use that code DNVR for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And you can try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Let's get to 1,000 likes today. It's a fitting day.
Crush it.
To hit 1,000 likes after what an incredible weekend it was for the Colorado Buffaloes. Really incredible week. Keep saying weekend, but it stretches all the way back to what, Thursday?
Yep.
Thursday was when it all began, which some people have said Thursday is the new Friday. So I guess it's just an extended weekend.
I can get behind that.
If you are going to use an extended weekend to go skiing, do some work out in your yard in the cold, you got to hit up our friends over at Hestra Job Gloves. These ones are specifically made for getting shit done.
Yep.
So check out Hestra Job Gloves at www.hestrajob.us and use code DNVRJOB to get 30% off your next purchase, which is a great deal. 30% off these things. And I think I told this story once before, but I told my buddy the other day, I was like, oh, we got these sick gloves from one of our sponsors called Hestra Job. And he was like, oh, those are the best. Like he's like, I literally had a gift card that I got for Christmas. I spent the whole thing on just getting some Hestra Jobs because I wanted them so bad. So get some Hestra Job gloves, hestrajob.us. Use the code DNVRJOB to get 30% off.
All right. Just a few little extra notes here to run through before we get to questions. It was made official. We knew this was coming, but JD and Taj Alston officially declared for the NFL draft.
Yep.
They were both graduate transfers coming in and are both going to be taking their talents to the next level. Probably a pro day here sometime February, March-ish. We'll get to see him there one more time at CU. But they are trying to make the leap.
Yep. And I think both of them have a chance. At the very least, they're going to get an opportunity in a camp somewhere. But I think specifically JD, who had SEC production, has a chance to get drafted in this next draft. Obviously, we know Zay is going to be what we think maybe a top 100 pick.
Yeah.
But he might not end up being the only buff that gets drafted. And obviously it helps your draft stock when you play for Coach Prime. Everyone gets a look at you.
Yep.
And he has the ultimate ability to pull strings.
Yep.
As we always say, his network is everyone. So Coach Prime will be putting the good word for guys who deserve it.
I'm sure there's going to be a few more, too, that kind of... I think Rod Ward declared for the draft as well. That was another kind of obvious one, was out of eligibility. Like
maybe Javon Antonio?
Yep, him as well. And then we saw Van Wells committed to Oregon State. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
So he links up with Coach DeVan, who I'm pretty sure recruited him. He was the offensive line coach last year.
Wish the best for him.
Of course.
I just worry about these guys going to Oregon State.
I know, man. Hang in there, Connor. And then shout out to Buffs basketball, the Buffs men basketball team. Yesterday, just put it on Miami, man.
Without Cody Williams.
Without Cody, yes.
Beat them by 29, and it was incredible. It was so fun to watch that team break out because they've been kind of slogging along for a couple weeks here. And even in the first half yesterday, it was still that oh, man, they're on the verge of...
I think they only had a 1-point lead going into halftime.
Yeah, and they had a bigger one. They kind of let it down at the end of the half, just like they did against CSU. So it was like, uh-oh, here we go again. Tristan turns it on. KJ turns it on. Eddie turns it on.
Yep.
And you saw the blowtorch that is that basketball team when they're all going.
There were 6 buffs in double figures. Hadley had 11. KJ had 20. Julian Hammond started in place of Cody. He had 11. And then, of course, Tristan. Tristan almost had a triple-double, by the way.
One away.
Yep. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Eddie had 11 points. Luke O'Brien had 13 points. He hit 3 threes. He also had 5 rebounds and 2 assists. And then Hassan Diop got into the game late. Jope. Dak got in. I mean, they were kind of emptying the clip at the end there, but they really dominated Miami.
It was awesome. Number 15, Miami. They go to the East Coast, which is a neutral site game, but definitely an easier trip for Miami.
Yep.
And run them straight off the floor. So a really nice feeling for that team. They're 26th now in the rankings.
And Miami's still 24. What is going on?
What are we doing there? It would be one thing if the game was close.
I know. But the Buffs have done this before. They did it last year against Tennessee and Texas A&M. I think both of those were neutral site games, and they ended up coming out on top with big wins. It's obvious that this team has the talent to kind of hang with anyone and make a run in the tournament. It's just about being more consistent, I think, which has kind of been their battle going back to last year.
Yep.
They start a 4-game homestand now. They got Northern Colorado on the 15th. I think that's Friday.
What are the 4 games?
Northern Colorado, Utah Tech, Washington, and Washington State.
Okay, so conference play begins.
The 29th, they play Washington, and then the 31st on New Year's Eve, they'll play Washington State.
Washington beat Gonzaga this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Pac-12 had a great weekend in basketball.
It was a good old Saturday night 9 p.m. tip, so you know I bet on it.
Of course.
I had Washington money line.
Had to, man.
It's great.
How did you spend your first Saturday without real college football? Did you watch Army-Navy?
I watched Army-Navy, and Spencer and I made the decision to bet the over, and it was one of the most electric wins. Oh, he told me, he's like, I bought it down to 27.5.
Yeah.
And I have never been more excited about a safety in my entire life.
I went Navy money line with the over, and we were this close, man. Why are we calling tush push with 7 seconds left from like the 3-yard line? What are we doing?
I just think I don't know. They put 2 calls in, obviously out of the timeout as their last timeout, and that was the second call.
Crazy. And then FCS playoffs. Did you watch any of that?
I did. I watched Montana. Hank's squad.
Yep.
Therefore, my squad, because it's the only team in the FCS playoffs that I have any connection to. And I came away thinking that we should get that 6'7" tight end from Furman, or 6'8".
Yeah.
Add him to the fold. But that Montana game was electric. And then I watched, what was the other one? Oh, South Dakota.
There were a few.
In Villanova, which had 45-mile-per-hour winds, which made for an interesting game too.
I watched the, I want to say Illinois game, or not Illinois, Idaho.
Oh yeah, in the Kibbe Dome.
Yes, I can't remember who they played. And then just other news, I guess. North Dakota State, their head coach, hired to coach defensive line, I think, at USC.
Yeah.
And this is the Buffs' first opponent next year, so they're going to need a new head coach.
Yeah, and it actually was a down year for North Dakota State. They're not even ranked. They have to get an at-large bid, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
To get into the FCS playoffs, and now they're marching through it.
Yep.
Because that's what North Dakota State does. So it's kind of interesting because I remember talking to Henry about this like a month ago, and he was like, "Oh yeah, North Dakota State's not what they used to be." Mm-hmm. Well, they just won 35-10 or something.
45-17.
45-17. Now they're in the semifinals against Montana. So we've always known it, but that is no joke of a program coming in. You kind of like that they're going to have a little bit of instability before they come over here.
For sure. I watched Idaho lose to UAlbany. That's what I watched.
Oh, yeah.
I love the names of some of these like quarterbacks at this level.
Yeah.
The UAlbany quarterback, his last name, Poffenbarger.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. By the way, I think that was the first game that Albany's ever won outside of the Eastern time zone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Insane, man.
Poffenbarger?
Yeah. Louis Lake. How about that?
Oh,
Lake Louis.
That's fire, DCB. That's fire. You should tweet that one at him.
Yeah.
That might win.
All right. Yeah. We're ready, bro. What's going on over there, dude?
You tangled yourself up over there or what? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Jeez. No, Alyssa, back-to-back shows?
I know.
Unbelievable. She's twerking up a storm.
Leon says, why would Woods leave? He has a role and is a good player.
No indication that he's going to quite yet.
No, but same reason any other guy would leave
Better
this program.
NIL.
Well, yeah, transfers
Playing
come in and all
time.
of a sudden you don't have a starting role anymore.
Yep.
You want to go play.
I mean, every single player in the country is taking a peek at the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm. Can we predict the starting O-line for next season? I think it's too early.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
We'll get there.
We'll have a whole
PPMG
show
TV.
about something like that.
We will. When the D-line start announcing commitments, when they visit.
Friday or Saturday.
What's the word on Trevor Etienne? Any interest between the Buffs and Trevor? Haven't heard anything yet.
What's annoying is like these Twitter accounts keep putting the Buffs just like on the Buffs logo on graphics of players.
I know.
And you're like, oh, is this like an on 3 or like one of these like graphics that they had made? And then you realize like you go back to the source and it's just like blue blood bias.
Yep.
Like was like, oh, this could work out. Like they
Right.
put us on the
Walter Nolan, right?
Princely.
Oh yeah,
The dude from Florida. They were on his. They're on the Walter Nolan one. They're on the Trevor Etienne one. And then people just save those photos and post them elsewhere. And it's like, oh, did he say that these are the schools? No. So we don't know yet. But obviously we know that there was some mild level of mutual interest. But we'll see where that goes.
Live with Tez says, who does Colorado love more, Prime or Jokic?
Oh, that's tough. The big thing is that not everyone in Colorado is a Buffs fan. It's very split. So you have your Buffs fans, your Rams fans, you have Air Force, you have obviously people that went out of state for school.
Or
so
the losers who just don't like college football out here.
Yeah, so it is Jokic on the whole. But Prime obviously has a lot more national support.
Look, love Jokic. He's amazing to watch, but Prime, easy choice for me.
Well, I mean, Jokic is literally my favorite athlete of all time, but that's on a totally different scale.
Yeah.
And obviously the Buffs are my first love, so there you go.
Stanford Hygas says, are running backs scared of committing because of the lack of commitment to the run? No, I don't think we even had a running back on campus this last week, and I just don't think they've gone after one yet. Joshua asked Drelon Miller or Aaron Butler. Drelon Miller, because he's a Buff.
Yep. Dude, I mean, I won't back off the fact that I love Aaron Butler.
He's amazing.
As a player, he's going to be awesome for someone.
Eric asks, with the O-line as presently constructed, who benefits more, the run or pass game? Well, the run game can only go up from here.
Yeah. But the pass game, I am actually going to pick the pass because
there's a lot of sacks.
Sheduar with time is going to be a movie.
Yeah.
I'm serious. People are not ready for what he's going to be able to do if he gets to just stand back there and pick people apart.
We got to get him back into JSU mode.
Yep. What's crazy is that from like a touchdown to interception ratio, he was not far off that this year.
That's just what makes it more like tantalizing. Like imagine if he actually had an offensive line, what he could do. Nick asks, what's up? Sorry if I missed this at all, but is there any update on Omar White? Is there still? I haven't seen anything. Basically since March when the lawsuit or the charges, I guess, were filed.
Is he still listed on their commits list? Okay.
Lone Wolf asks, what do you think of Brian Early becoming the D-line coach? Think Coach Prime should go after him?
I think it's too early to tell. You do need someone. Okay, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Warren Sapp's coming in. We don't expect him to jump right into a full-time salaried coaching position, which obviously you have a limited amount of in college football. He could. And no one's going to be shocked if they give that to a gold jacket guy. But at the same time, you could need to just add a coach and have Warren Sapp come in and work under him at first before eventually, elevating him or something along those lines. There's clearly a relationship between Brian Early and Coach Prime. So maybe he ends up going in that direction, but I don't know for sure.
Lamar with the super chat asked, do you think Coach Prime is requiring these new commits to get in early and not show up whenever and out of shape like Cormani? Early enrollment should be paramount if we plan to win the Big 12 SCO. I think every coach who gets any type of commit wants their guys in there as soon as possible.
Yep.
So it's just up to, I guess, the players. Whether they have to graduate or do whatever. So
there's a couple transfers, too, who came in late.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Ellis was one.
I think DeMoy was a later. Or
also,
no, he got there early.
Did Jalen Ellis officially retire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done. Big Teasy, what's up, dude? Said, where they at? What they saying? Who? Them fake haters. Coach Prime said, I'm about to get comfortable. Kick them feet up, Coach. SCO Buffs. Appreciate you, Big Teasy.
Nailed it.
Don Peasy, the Great Wall of Boulder was created right before our eyes this weekend. What a time for CU. What a time for college football. Amen.
Amen. That's just wait, man. Just wait.
Changing the game.
Yep.
What's up, Chris? Just a shout out, Jake and RK, for keeping everyone informed and in check during the ups and downs. Fun show today. Appreciate you, man. Thanks,
you. Chris.
Luis says, number 2 already building the bond with the OL. Took them out to
Bowl.
Oh, okay, sweet. Love to see that, man.
Let's go. I don't even know where you do that. There's not a bowling alley in Boulder except for at the UMC. They could have just gone there, I guess.
Yeah. Don Peasy with 2 super chats.
Perfect opportunity to name it Boulder.
And because we'll be bowling over defenders this fall, too.
For real.
What's the other Don Peasy super chat? Yeah. Says Lake Him or Boulder Lake?
We already do have Boulder Reservoir.
Yeah. Lake Him is pretty good, too.
Lake Him is sick.
What's up? Sean says Prime offered the naming rights of the lake for sale.
There you go. For a sizable donation to the NIL Collective. Lake DNVR, baby.
The biggest donation to the 5430 Collective gets to name Coach Prime's Lake.
I love it.
Original says, who was your guest for the big flip on signing day? Boot Carter's got to be the favorite. Jaquan McRoy's in there.
I was going to pick McCroy.
Either of them would be amazing.
Yep.
Both of them would be incredible.
Yep. The interesting thing is, like, does McCroy, the big thing for him was, like, I see an instant opportunity to play. Does he still see that once this whole transfer class plays itself out? Mm-hmm. Not to say he shouldn't, but does that hurt the ability there?
Yep. I think that's Brian Woods? Breen? Either way, thank you for the super chats. They say, Ryan, last week you had mentioned that we are going to be needing ETN from Florida. Is Dylan hitting the portal?
I didn't say we're going to be. I said there's a chance that Trevor becomes more of a priority, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. Anything else, Yaya? Man, what a show today. We went a little long for y'all. I know y'all asked for it. People are saying 2 hours. I don't know if we have 2 hours in us.
We did get about an hour 15.
We're an hour 20 in right now.
All right. There you go. I could have done 2 hours. I got nowhere to be. I could stay here all day.
Sure. We don't have a show, I think, till 5 anyway. So.
Yeah. No, but appreciate you guys for all of your excitement. These shows are always the best when we know, like, oh, this is going to be a fun one. Everyone's excited.
We do have something to talk about.
We have to hit 1,000 likes. That's what we have to talk about.
Travis Hunter was named first team All-American All-Purpose player.
How dare we almost forget to say that. First team All-American. First one at Colorado since 2010. Man, I already have post-Travis Hunter dread.
Bro, I got it the minute he committed here. It's like, damn, we only get 24 games in this guy.
And then we fucking lost some because of Henry Blackburn.
Yeah, thanks, Henry.
So I'm just so excited to cherish his last year here next year. Protect Sheduar, throw it to Travis. Travis is going to keep making incredible plays on defense. He deserves every bit of this. He is absolutely an All-American, and I'm excited for him and Sheduar to tug of war the Heisman next year.
I mean, I don't say this lightly. I think he's my favorite player I've ever seen, like, in person.
That's awesome.
He's just incredible. I absolutely love watching him play football. Like, it just gives me so much joy when he's out there and we're able to be at Folsom Field or wherever we are.
Yep.
And he's just out there doing his thing.
That's because he plays with so much joy. He lives with so much joy.
Yeah. He's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. And to be able to watch his career, like, start off, he obviously started at Jackson State, but just the buildup of his career, like, right in front of our eyes, it's really special.
It is really special. And like I said, just soak it up. I remember feeling this way about LaVisca.
Yeah.
And LaVisca wasn't even quite on this tier. But it's like one day you're going to be telling your kids.
Exactly.
I watched him play at Folsom Field, and it was special. So I hate that we have to wait so long to see him play football again.
Know.
But super happy that he got the recognition he deserves. And next year, he'll be All-American offense, defense, and all-purpose. Yep.
He deserves it, man. And honestly, he's kind of robbed by Henry Blackburn in that injury because it derailed his season. It derailed CU's season. And we just didn't get to see Travis at his full potential this year. And that's always going to hurt, I think, just looking back on this season.
Of course. And his worst game was his first game back.
Yep.
And it ended up being CU's worst game of the season, really. Or at least worst half of the season, and one that is going to sting for a while.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's just amazing. Just watching, you never know what he's going to do next. And when he does something, it's almost like a freak out moment every time.
Yep. Another super chat from Lamar. Jake, did you see the Cam Silman Craig hype video?
I did. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I got cropped out of it.
You did.
Only because he had to make it the Instagram size, but I was like, oh, I'm right over there to the right.
That's funny. But shout out Cam, man.
Oh, dude, I love Cam. Like I said, next year I'm putting him at starter at every position.
We have to. 2,400 people watching. That's crazy, man. If y'all enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Also subscribe to the podcast. If you're not able to make the lives, we're in your pocket wherever you go. Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
And if you're new here, we do this every day.
Yep.
Monday through Friday.
5 days a week, 1:30.
Same time, same place.
Go to DNVR.com to keep up with all the moves that Coach Prime and the Buffs are making. The Prime Tracker was just published yesterday. 2,000 words already.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Check out the Prime Tracker, man.
Last minute super chat from Gerald, I think that says. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Gerald.
All right.
Hit that thumbs up. We're so close to 1,000.
It's great to be a Buffs. Go Buffs.
Let's go, Buffs. We're just getting started.
We all silly like the mayor.